Our endeavors takes us all the way to Embakasi, where we meet the one and only Sam Shollei. He is the former Football Kenya Federation Vice President, as well as a former footballer, having played for clubs such as Tusker FC, as well as a prolific midfielder for the national team, Harambee Stars. But today we are here to talk about his clothline, that is the Warrior. We want to find out what inspired him to start this new journey. Actually, thank you for your time. It's always a pleasure and always talking to you.
Karibu.
But now we are here because of something new that I've seen that you're doing, worry and all that stuff. But before we even get to that, how have you been? What have you been at?
Been good, a bit busy. You know, after Corona, you know, there's been a lot of, you know, low business, and, you know, so many people lost their jobs out there. Business is, I mean, it's been very low, so we've been struggling to bring it back to where it used to be.
I know a lot of people know you. I remember when we met, you were vice president. You used to call yourself vice president or vice chair?
I think vice chair used to be the name that I would have wanted people to recognize me with, because, you know, president, iko na kiburi fulani, it gives people big heads. They think they are okay. Back then there are some other Kenyatas and stuff like that, you know. But, you know, chairman has some humble, you know, it gives you humbleness in terms of, you know, when you're interacting with people.
I think that is how me and you met, when you were the vice chair of the Federation. But you've also played football. Maybe you can bring us up to speed, or my viewers up to speed.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when back in the days, you know, we are very old as we speak right now. Back in the days, you know, having been brought up from very humble families, the only cheapest, you know, and affordable sport used to be football, because you would just go out there, get some polythene papers, you know, gather them together, tie them, and you have a football. Unlike, you know, the rich kids back in the days, their parents could buy them, you know, hockey sticks and tennis and all that. So that is how we ended up playing soccer. And again, having been brought up within the Luyas and Luos in Kitale, you know, those are the only two tribes back in the days that people believed they played more football than any other thing. Unlike, of course, you Kikuyus, you never used to play football until the other day. So that is how I ended up, you know, loving football, and I played my football in Kitale, being mentored by people like Patrick Shim at Kitale FC, and then after my standard 7, we are the guys that did the last CPE in 1983. I was poached by Kibabi High School in Bungoma. Kibabi High School wanted to be among the big forces of football in Western Kenya. Back then it used to be Musingu and Kakamega High. So yes, we raised the bars in Kakamega, and then after high school I joined Raymond Woolen Mills in Eldoret. Played there for 2 years, and then ended up at Rivertex in 1990. So at Rivertex, I played against so many, you know, very good players. Patrick Nachok would be one of them. Charles Burinamdeche, Alfayo Odongo, you know. And then that same year, we performed very well in the Premier League. It used to be called Super League then. After the end of the Super League of 1990, we were number two in the league, and then that is how Masho Mulwa spotted me, and then he brought me to Kenya Breweries. Yeah.
Then from there you got to the national
Immediately team. I landed at Kenya Breweries. That is when I was called to the national team. It was quite unfair because I think I was better than who I was at Rivertex than I was at Kenya Breweries. So I deserved to have been called in the 1990, call-up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I know you have a lot of memories. I'll come we talk about those memories.
There are so many.
Yeah, when you used to play football.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Warrior. What is Warrior all about?
Okay, now Warrior is a sports and leisure clothline that we just started recently. It was actually last year in October. My father passed on in September 30th. So every October, the first week of October, the first weekend of October, we usually run a tournament in, just to remember him. And when you're running a tournament, then you are required to buy so many uniforms, bibs and all that. Now, I usually find myself in some very awkward position because having been a former football player and an administrator of football in this country, there's a lot of demands from so many teams all over the country. People are calling you, they want bibs, they want footballs, they want, all sorts of sports gears. Mm-hmm. And you see now, it's very expensive. It's very expensive, and you cannot, just run away from these people. So while driving back to Nairobi, actually before the tournament, when we were branding the uniforms, we actually branded the uniforms from here, the uniforms that we went to use in the tournament in Kitale. So that is basically what built up the idea of starting a sports and leisure sportswear. Now, number two, I used to supply IT staff at RVTTI in Eldoret for 1 year, and then when the renewal of the tender was announced, so we decided let us retender, apply again, and then also expand the business region. So we decided to also pick the staff uniforms. Apparently, they decided to knock us off the IT supplies, and then they pushed us to uniforms, staff uniforms. So that is how, again, the idea of having a clothline came up, because we sat down and discussed, and when it comes to staff uniforms, then you need to have some branding machines and all that. So we brought a heat press and a plotter, which you can cut a logo and names, and boom, after the tournament, because now we had the machines here, we decided, because we've been in Kitale and everyone is asking for bibs, and bibs are very expensive. A bib you can get one at about 400 shillings. So we agreed with my crew, let us go and try and manufacture bibs, and that is how we started making bibs, the ones you see here. And from the bibs, now we jumped to hoods, yeah, and other clothes. That is how Warrior was born.
And I see there's a lot of logo from teams to betting companies. What are some of the maybe teams and companies that have trusted you to manufacture?
Right now, not so many. Basically, the logos that you're seeing right now, those were actually samples. Because we are looking for businesses, and the companies would ask you, bring a sample. That is how we ended up, having all these logos around. But tell you what, almost all the football academies in Nairobi, we've kitted them with the bibs. And a lot of people, including Fred Arocho, he's wearing, he's purchased a few Warrior hoods from us. So we've actually sold a bit. Only that we were under a sampling period, which just to make sure that we can be able to manufacture all this. So from this year onwards, you'll see a lot of noise coming from this end. Yeah.
So what you're telling me is that your target market is not only people who are only doing sports?
No. I mean, Warrior is open, and it's for everyone, not necessarily just sportsmen. We have sports and leisure. And in terms of, and I know it's a question that you might ask, in terms of which market are we targeting? We are Warrior is a free zone. If you come in with your own design, we will give you that design. Yeah, we are very open and flexible. Yeah.
So I see you're donned in Warrior Juchini minus the shoes.
Yeah.
You have a cap on a top. You have I don't want to call them trousers. What do you call these things? Oh, of course, it's a trouser.
It's a trouser.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's
a what is it called? Not a jogger. I'll give you the name. It's in a bit.
But it's not a sweatpant, is it?
It's a sweatpant.
Right.
It's a sweatpant. Thank you.
Oh,
That's the name I was looking for.
Okay.
Yeah.
When are we likely to see you guys having shoes? Because the people who would want to wear Warrior Juchini.
Okay, now that's a good question, because when I was looking to register the Warrior brand, I came across a Warrior company. There's a company in Mombasa that is called Warrior, and they're manufacturing shoes. So I'm looking at as soon as we've hit the road, I think I'll need to contact them and see whether we can be able to work together, because they're Warrior, and I'm sure if we sit down with them and agree, they cannot refuse to use our logo on their shoes as long as we maintain the name. So that's an option that we are actually looking at.
There's this problem, and we've been pushing about Buy Kenya, Build Kenya. What would you say now that you have experience in producing cloth? You have your own clothline.
Yeah.
In terms of quality, why do people fear locally made products? Yet I can see the top you're actually wearing is something that you can actually wear.
It involves a lot, because everyone wants to wear something that is quality, and quality doesn't just come in materials. Quality also comes in the way the clothes are stitched.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to wear a trouser that the stitching is crooked. You need a stitching that is done, that is straight. And basically people would run away because of such like very small things. Yeah, the quality of the material might be good, but stitching would be bad. So that is something that we consider a lot, and every time that any brand is being manufactured here, I have to be there to make sure that, the first one we get it right, so that the next. And we also have to check on quality. The fundis also get tired at some point, and they will give you the first three with very high quality, and then the rest is because they get tired at some point. Yeah.
Quantities. If I wanted to manufacture something in quantity, what's your capacity?
Okay, our capacity is not measured, because as long as you have two head boys within the company, people that know how to stitch. Out there are a lot of fundis that are just waiting for kibarua, like what happens at what's this company in Kitengela? EPZ, yes, like EPZ. What EPZ does is they get people to work on contract, as long as you can deliver and you're paid according to the numbers of stitching that you do. So that wouldn't be an issue. And then number two, we have a lot of, if you go to Uhuru Market along Jogo Road, there are a lot of machines there that are just lying without work. So as long as you have a connection, then it becomes easy for you to deliver any amount of clothes that anyone is ordering for.
So if I wanted Warrior brands, where do I get them?
If you want Warrior brands, you will get them. You can call me. We are also located at Embakasi Seasons Hotel, Block 4, Suite 9 and 10. You can just walk in. We take your fittings, and then the following day you have your clothes.
Yeah. So if I'm an individual, I want my own stuff.
Yeah.
not many, you can still?
Yeah, we can do 1, 2, 3. We do all that. You know, because you see
How
now.
affordable
Yeah.
is Warrior?
Okay, now Warrior is not expensive. Yeah, it might be expensive to some people. It might be very cheap to some people, but we actually balanced. And every cloth that we manufacture also depends with the design and the amount of material that it takes. That one actually determines the price of the cloth. But trust me, I mean, our whole hood, yeah, the top and bottom. If you go out there, you'll get it at about 5,500. But from us here, you can from 2,500 to 4,500. You can get one. Yeah.
Right. Well, I know you still have football at heart, and I wouldn't want to end this interview without asking your thoughts on the current status of football in this country.
Okay.
Just the other day, CAF and FIFA delegation was here. They were chatting the way forward after the lifting of the suspension. What are your thoughts?
Okay, it's embarrassing because football is messed up. Football is messed up, and I think the last football, the higher standard of football that was played was around when I think Nyamwea was there. And even then, people were still complaining that the football standards were very low. So you can imagine right now. If you want me to rate it, I can drop it down from then when football was football. Our standards have deteriorated. It's gone down to like district level. Yeah, at the national level, it's gone down to about around district level. And district level used to be even competitive. And it's going to be an uphill task, yeah, to get it back because number one, a lot of these kids that you want them to come and participate in football, they are all now looking for how they would survive. They are on motorbikes all over, and you know they're struggling to make sure that they put food on the table. So I don't know where we're going to get these players from, and how we are going to convince these players to leave whatever they are doing right now to come back to football. It's a mess.
Can we remedy the situation?
I don't know. It will take time. It will take time for us to remedy it. I don't know. It will take a lot of time. And you know, human beings are never patient because we want to play in the World Cup. This thing might take about 10 years. And for it to take 10 years, we have to invest a lot of money. We have to show kids out there that in football there's money. Where do we get this money from? So that when this kid starts playing football, he starts earning as well. So everyone is looking at money. Everyone is looking at how they're going to survive. There's no employment these days. You know, out of 10 people today, 6 are business people because there's no employment anywhere else. And if you ask that boy to come and play football because it's a hobby, then you know, just forget it. It won't happen.
For the footballers themselves, what would be your advice? I've seen a couple of them embrace education, and I don't think, Shollei, you'd be where you are if you didn't embrace education. What would you tell them? Because at the end of the day, football is a very short career. After some time, your body will refuse.
Yeah.
So what would you advise maybe footballers?
What I would tell them to do is to start, you know, learning how to do businesses out there, because even education itself, we have so many kids out there that have masters and they don't know where to take the certificates. So you just need to start learning how to speak English, how to write, and also how to sell bananas out there for you to make a few shillings. Otherwise, you can go up to the best universities in this world, but now who is going to employ you? Exactly. Yeah. So self-employment is a thing. Yeah.
So what are you going to make me today?
I'm going to take you to the workshop. You choose any material you want, and then any design of your choice, and then we make it for you.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll be more than happy to do Warrior
Karibu.
by the end of business today.
Karibu. No, it's going to take like 2 hours.
Okay.
Just 2 hours. Yeah, 2 hours is enough for you. Okay. This body is not too big.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank
2 hours.
Sawa.
Asante.
Well, let's see how things turn out.
Sasa.